Hello and welcome to this look at the July weather prospects. June was very mixed, and although not all the data has yet been finalised, it looks to have been another warmer than average month. It was also very wet in parts of the UK, and there was certainly a lot more rain around than in May. I think the highest temperature recorded during the month was 33.6 Celsius at Heathrow Airport on Thursday the 25th. Shortly after that it turned much cooler, and a lot of the country saw showers or long spells of rain, so there was a big change for weather. Now July is also starting off on quite a mixed note, but how are things looking as we head through the next few weeks? Firstly, I'll take a look at some temperature anomaly charts from the GEFS model. What these are showing is whether the temperatures over the set period of time are likely to be above the average or below the average. So the first chart which I have here is for days 0 to 5 starting from today, and if I just highlight the UK, which is there, what you can see is that temperatures are forecast generally to be a little bit below the average during the next 5 days. So rather a cool start to the month. Now if I skip ahead to days 5 to 10, we can see it's actually quite a similar picture. I'll just highlight the UK here once more, and the anomaly remains negative. So it's obviously at this time of year it's not going to be cold, but what this is telling me is that forecast temperatures are likely to be a little bit below where we would expect them to be, at least in much of the country. Now I'll jump ahead to the next chart, which is for days 10 to 15, showing exactly the same data but for the adjusted time period. And what we can see now is that at least in much of southern England we have lost that negative temperature anomaly. It still remains cooler in the north and west of the UK, but the trend here is towards warmer conditions as we go through the middle third of July. So another way of looking at the prospects for the next 16 days is the line graph, which plots the GFS ensemble data too. This time we're looking at upper air temperatures. The thick black line highlights a 30-year average, so when we're going below it, such as here and here, we can expect, well, possibly temperatures to be cooler than the 30-year average down at the surface level. It's not a given at this time of the year because we can still have quite cool air at the 850 HPA level, and even when that happens, it can still be warm at the surface level due to the strong sunshine that we can get. Nonetheless, it doesn't look as though the really hot conditions are set to return during the next 16 days. Perhaps towards the end here, a number of the runs do warm up, and there are a few hot ones in there. In fact, a couple are showing temperatures possibly into the mid-30s Celsius down at the ground level, but they are in a small minority. The overwhelming number of runs, even during the middle part of July, are going for close to average upper air temperatures. So I would not expect the heat to be making a quick return, if at all. In terms of rainfall, we can see across the bottom of the plot here, this is the London plot we're looking at. There's an ongoing risk of rain. Having said that, it does look to be drier in this middle period here from about the 6th of July through to about the 13th or 14th of the month. There's then a signal for it to turn wetter once again towards the middle of July. It's a similar pattern for other locations in the UK. This plot is showing the same data but for Birmingham. We can see those rather cool upper air temperatures for much of a period, and some rain across the bottom here, but not particularly wet, perhaps turning wetter again towards the end of the forecast period. Quick look at the same plot for Glasgow. Much of a muchness on the upper half, so 850 HPA temperatures, often a little bit below the 30-year average. Now in terms of rainfall, this looks significantly different. It certainly looks wetter for much of the time, can see here this period between the 3rd and the 7th of July in particular looks wet, perhaps here as well, and then there's an ongoing risk of rain towards the through the middle third of the month, although perhaps by then things are turning a little bit drier. So that takes us through to the middle of July. I'd say it's quite a mixed picture. Little sign of heat returning, rain predominantly in the northwest, but even the southeast could see some showers or long spells of rain at time. Now if we jump ahead to the second half of the month, these charts come from the European model forecast, which goes out for 30 days. This also shows temperature anomalies, and here we've got the UK. And what we can see during this period is no real anomaly at all. So for much of the country, temperatures are forecast to be close to average here. Jump ahead to the following week, which is for the 20th of July to the 27th. And once again, we can see there isn't a temperature anomaly in most of the UK. So it looks pretty average. Now, the rainfall anomaly charts from the same model actually show drier conditions developing through the second half of the month in much of the UK. If you've seen the Weather Outlook monthly forecast, which has been issued for July, you'll see the expectation is for it to turn more unsettled during this period. So it does go against what the current run of the European forecast model is showing. There's a number of reasons why it goes against it. I'm not going to discuss those here. I may write a buzz post on the site about the reasons in the next few days. But essentially, the prediction of dry conditions during the second half of the month shown by the current European model run is not one which I am buying into. So to summarise, it's looking like a changeable month. Temperatures will probably be close to the average, perhaps slightly above the average, taken over the entire period. The northwest can expect to see the most unsettled conditions, with drier and more settled periods in the south and southeast. And as you would expect during July, there is the possibility of it turning hotter at times in the southeast, despite it being quite a changeable and unsettled month. But at the moment, the signal for that to happen isn't really a strong one, but it is as ever, it is something to keep an eye on. Thanks for watching. Cheers now. Bye.